Hello everyone and welcome to the first TFS Gaming Top 10 Tuesday.
Cause we love alliteration.
I'm Lenny Pator.
And I'm Kieran.
And we're here to break down our top 10 horror-themed games from the West.
You mean like cowboys?
No, as in not Asia, or else this list would be dominated by Japanese games.
But my Resident Evils! My Silent Hills!
Shh, we'll get to them in another list, Kieran.
Okay. So why horror games for our first list anyway?
Well, it is October, the month of All Hallows Eve. You know, the time to sit around with friends, watch scary movies.
Scare the crap out of kids?
Yeah, sure. Well, one of my favorite pastimes is to sit back with some good old classic horror-themed video games.
Horror-themed? What do you mean?
Well, we've seen tons of lists with the scariest games, but honestly, I never really get scared by those horror games, so I can't really qualify that. Honestly, this list comes down to which games we feel have the most dynamic environments, best elements of horror, but most of all, which ones we enjoyed the most.
Yeah, man, a game's gotta be fun. Also, we'll only allow one game per franchise.
So let's kick it off with number 10. The Haunting, starring Polterguy. Please don't turn off the video, I swear there's a reason.
Oh no, man, this looks like baby's first horror game.
Well, you'd think that, but let me explain. You see, you are Polterguy, a Beetlejuicy radical ghost who's charged himself with scaring the crap out of families to steal their spooky spooge.
What?
You see, he runs on energy called ectoplasm that people excrete when they flee from the room in terror. You know, spooky spooge.
Honestly, for a burgeoning horror title on a 16-bit system, the scares can get pretty gruesome.
There's over 100 items you can interact with to scare people, but you gotta be careful. You see, every time you arm a haunt trap, you waste energy, and if you lose it all, you get dragged to hell.
Jesus.
Don't worry, it's only temporary, unless you die there. You just gotta collect more spooky spooge from all the hands in the walls. Honestly, it was one of my favorite games for the Genesis as a kid, and it still holds up as kind of a fun time waster today.
Gross. Outlast. Oh, that's the one with the camera and the crazy people, right?
Yes, Kieran, yes it is. In this game, you don the guise of an investigative reporter who goes to Mount Massive Asylum to unearth a story of hospital corruption. Unfortunately, once you're in, you're kinda trapped with a crazy scissor-wielding surgeon, an insane religious cult, machete-toting nudists, and of course, the big guy.
Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, Jesus!
Your only source of light is through your night vision camera that runs on batteries, providing a dark, tense atmosphere that requires some frantic resource management. This forces you to explore the asylum, and you might not always enjoy what you find.
So it keeps you going.
Honestly, the story is the only thing that keeps you going after a while. It suffers from the same fatigue as other defenseless horror games, where there's a lot of run here, hide there, wait, wax on, wax off.
If this were a list of the scariest horror games, this would probably be higher on the list, but that's not what we're judging here.
And if you want to see what my experience with the game was like, feel free to check out Krillin Plays Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower.
Nice plug.
Thank you. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Nothing says horror-themed like demonic babies, madmen with chainsaws, and of course, zombies.
Oh my god, I love this game. You and a friend play as kids armed with water guns that use a bunch of neighborhood household items to slay hordes of monsters. You got like weed whackers, silverware, fire extinguishers, whatever you can find to kill zombies and save your neighbors. Why did zombies eat your neighbors? Who knows? Your job is to kill them.
Yeah, but the game is dicks hard.
Well, yeah.
I've lost more than a fair share of friends over this game.
It's Battletoads all over again.
Despite its bright, colorful, cheery appearance, you can't say this is not a horror-themed game.
And a damn good one at that.
I miss you, LucasArts.
Dead Space 2.
It was kind of hard choosing between the first two Dead Space titles to put on this list, but I had to go with number 2 because of its monsters, varied environments, and improved gameplay.
Also, there's a shit ton of gory deaths. My mom would hate this.
Fresh off the heels of Dead Space 1, Isaac wakes up in a hospital and shit's already gone f***ed. It's now your job to not only survive, but find out why things are so bad.
Between the atmosphere of the space station and the variety of weapons and enemies, this is easily the best Dead Space game. While not necessarily as scary as Dead Space 1's decrepit mining rigs and jump scare heavy baddies, Dead Space 2 is an overall better experience.
If you are, however, interested in seeing Dead Space 1 but don't want to play it yourself, Krillin played it. You can check it out right there.
Really? Again.
Yep. Left 4 Dead 2, I have lost many hours of my life to you.
And it's easy to see how. This game is rife with content across the multiple campaigns, horde mode, and of course, the best part of the game, the asymmetrical multiplayer that allows you to actually play as the special zombies in the game.
Chargers, boomers, spitters, smokers, jockeys, hunters, and of course, the big guy.
Please don't come from behind us. Oh my God!
To kill these monsters, you arm yourself with shotguns, assault rifles, SMGs, pistols, sniper rifles, and a plethora of melee weapons that all feel just so satisfying to crack across the face of the undead.
Follow that up with jars of bile, pipe bombs, and of course my favorite, Molotovs.
I'll take you!
I'm being jockeyed!
Fire!
Being jockeyed! No, this is not saving anyone!
This game is just a blast to play with 3 or more of your friends.
Just don't startle the witch.
Boys, I'm down.
5 Nights at Freddy's.
Again, please don't turn this off. We know these games are overhyped.
No, we understand. That's why I think this is important to include. We don't have to tell you anything about this. You already know. And yeah, it's the whole franchise on here, not just one game.
If we had to pick just one, it'd probably be 2, because that has the most engaging gameplay elements, though.
And now what the overall franchise lacks in fun,
And believe me, none of these games are particularly fun.
it makes up for in lore. There are hundreds of fan theories, all attempting to decode the cryptic bits of backstory provided through posters, recordings, and creepy mini-games throughout the series.
All of these elements point to a bigger story that leaves just enough questions unanswered to keep people interested.
It's reliant on jump scares, it's not very fun, but it has an undeniable pull over us, and most of the internet at large.
Also, the animatronics are creepy as hell. I have no mouth and I must scream. The opening monologue alone of this point-and-click horror adventure classic from the 90s guaranteed it a spot on this list.
If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you, hate.
Based on the short story of the same name by Harlan Ellison, you take on the roles of the last 4 remaining humans who are imprisoned and tortured by a sentient AI known as Am.
Who was voiced by the author Ellison himself, which is kind of a great touch of authenticity.
Throughout the game, your goal is to explore these worlds that Am places you in as you slowly encroach on the AI's central consciousness in hopes of undoing or possibly fixing the horrors it has wrought on humanity.
But unless you have a strategy guide,
Or the help of a friend who's played it.
you're gonna die. A lot. Or worse. Some shit's just downright Kafkaesque.
I have no mouth, and I must scream.
These people are just being broken down mentally, emotionally, and physically in horrific ways. It's hard to forget once you experience it.
The game is approaching its 20th anniversary, and while it may not hold up as well as some of the newer games on this list, it certainly was one of the most enjoyable macabre games of its time, and deserves its slot at number 4.
Alien Isolation.
In Alien...
No, I know where this is going.
What?
You just finished playing it as Krillin. There's the plug. Bam, done.
Okay, can we talk about the game now?
Yes.
Honestly, I was hard-pressed to put this game any lower on the list with how well it represents Ridley Scott's vision and one of my favorite horror movies in general.
The constant ping of the motion sensor, the sound of the thin air ducts rending to unknown forces, and the feeling of being well and truly alone.
Isolated, if you will.
Reminds you that you're never safe.
Frankly, the Alien's AI is the best part of this game. It never does the same thing twice. One playthrough you might be going through an air duct without a hitch, then another you're standing face to mouth to tiny other mouth with the Geigerian horror.
And the alien isn't the only threat aboard the ship. You also have to deal with the soulless androids known as the Working Joes, and the oftentimes scarier actual human survivors.
You have to decide whether to sneak by or use your precious resources to take them down.
If only this game didn't drag on and on and on, way past the point of interest, it'd be a strong contender for #1.
That being said, it does always find new ways to keep you interested, and at the very least, it's easily one of the best movie tie-in games of all time.
Even better than Colonial Marines?
Amnesia: The Dark Descent. This is easily my favorite game to play alone in the dark. It's got excellent atmosphere, immersive sound design, literally thousands of things to pick up and interact with. I'd say it's the best first-person adventure game I've ever played.
The game is impeccably well paced, and it ramps up the difficulty beat by beat in just the right way.
You play as Daniel, who, surprise surprise, has amnesia. Your goal is to explore this lavish, eccentric, and for the most part empty manor to figure out exactly how you got there.
The game features an interesting mechanic to keep you moving. The more you look at the creatures, the more likely they are to find you, and the more likely you are to go insane.
And die. Much like Outlast, Amnesia requires you to manage your resources carefully. Between status recovery items, tinder boxes, and lantern oil, you always have to keep looking for more.
Unlike in Outlast, these items are usually hidden in drawers, doors, cabinets, all stuff that you can click on and interact with, encouraging you to explore every nook and cranny.
And that's probably one of its most endearing features. Not only can you interact with anything, you can also use plenty of these items to hide from the monsters. Closets? Check. Barrels? Check. Stacks of dead pigs? Check.
Not to mention the modding community for this game has created potentially better games than Amnesia: The Dark Descent itself. People just love this game.
Too bad Machine for Pigs kind of dropped the ball.
But hey, Soma's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it does, and you can check it out right here.
God damn it!
Before we get to #1, let's take a look at a couple honorable mentions.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. No game before or since has been so innovative when it comes to capturing psychological horror.
And on the GameCube, no less. It's kind of like if you made an entire game out of the boss fight with Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid. And it's awesome.
Do not underestimate the power of Mantarok.
Eternal Darkness has you traveling in the shoes of different people throughout time, from a Roman centurion to a curious college girl in 2000, an archaeologist in the 80s, a Canadian firefighter, a psychologist, and a crap ton more.
And all of their stories wind together in this Lovecraftian tragedy of cosmic horror and humanity's pointlessness.
Other titles try to capture your character going insane with like a few blurry filters and whatever, but this game actually tried to make you, the player, feel like you were going nuts.
The game would sometimes mute itself.
Your character's head could just disappear.
It would look like it's lowering the volume on your TV, which doesn't look all that great on anything other than a CRT, but it's still novel nonetheless.
It's unfortunate that no other game has taken the strides to emulate what Eternal Darkness set out to do, but that just makes it all the more special. It's a creepy, fascinating, and endearing title with a story that's as crazy as its gameplay.
And it's awesome.
To die, to sleep no more, and by asleep to say we end.
Hey, thanks for joining us for our first top 10 list.
So, what did you think of our first top 10 list? Did your favorite Western horror themed game make the list? Let us know what your favorite is in the comments below. And if you liked our list, show it by clicking that little like button down there. And if you want to stay tuned for more, hit the subscribe button at the top.
And we'd also like to thank all of our wonderful patrons who have helped support us so far. If you want to check out our campaign, you can hit that button right there. Every bit helps us bring on more people and create more content for you guys.
And if you want to see more spooky games, check out Krillin Plays Soma or the truly horrifying Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 Renegade for Life.
See you next time, guys.